Today I'm heading out to do some thrifting with the goal of finding vintage cozy home decor and a few cozy sweaters or dresses, all while spending under $200. So come along and let's see what God blesses me with today. I have found many thrifted treasures, but Jesus is the greatest treasure I've ever found, and he always leads me to some pretty sweet finds. Hey friends, and welcome to my channel. I am so excited to do an in-depth thrift haul today for YouTube. If you're new here, my name is Sadie and I run a online thrift shop over on Instagram at Sadie's Thrifty Finds, so you can follow me there if you want to shop my clothing finds. So I'm always posting my hauls on Facebook and Instagram, and I thought it would be fun to do like an in-depth thrift with me for YouTube. So this is the first one, and today we are actually sourcing for home decor. Of course, I'll have to hit up the clothing aisles too, but today we're going to be looking for home decor specifically. On my thrift list, I have lots of like wood tones and brass, vintage vibes. Always looking for baskets for my house and for my booth. Anything that's like granny core, I think it's technically called grandma core, but I have a granny who is my whole world, so I call it granny core. So anything granny core, cottage core, like vintage homey finds are my favorite. With all that being said, let's go in and see what we find. We're gonna head to the home section first, and then I'm gonna have to go through at least the dress section to see if they have any cute dresses. So let's go. Morning, good, how are you? Okay, so before we get back to the home decor, there's a big section in the front with blankets, pillows, curtains, linens, all the cozy things. So I stopped there first, and the pattern on this quilt just stood out to me, and it ended up being the most adorable little boy's teddy bear quilt for a nursery. And then I always like to check out the pillows just to see if there's anything that catches my eye. And anyone who knows me knows how much I love me a good lacy curtain. So I grabbed these two before I headed over to the pillow section. I'm on the hunt for some pillows with different textures and patterns so I can achieve this look here, but I didn't see anything promising. And I looked at this blanket here because it has that vintage floral print, which I use a lot throughout my home. And as I rounded the corner, I saw this blanket here with the fringe on the end poking out, and I always like to check those because it's typically going to be some kind of vintage tapestry blanket. And then right down from that one, I spotted two Christmas ones that looked so promising, so I checked both of those out, and I'm kind of regretting leaving that first one. I really don't know why I did, but I did bring this one home with me. I thought it was so pretty. This is coming home with me. As you will see, when I get into the thrift store, for some reason I black out and I will just throw anything that catches my eye into the cart. And then at the end, I'll go through and really think about it and pick out which pieces I really want to take home with me. Now, I am really regretting not bringing these home. I threw them in the car and then I ended up putting them back, and I regret it. Now let's see what we find in the home decor section. I didn't end up grabbing this little brown crock, but they are really cute for styling in your kitchen. And I didn't grab this either, but I thought that would be pretty by the doorway. And so I kept looking through, but I didn't see anything that I wanted to bring home with me in that little section. And then they had this furniture section here in the middle, and I loved this chair, but I ended up leaving it because I found one even better. But before I show you that, let's go through my favorite section, the baskets. Now, baskets are adorable on their own, but when they have this little liner added, I think it adds the cutest touch. This brown basket had some letters on it, but I was pretty positive I could peel them off, so I grabbed that one. And then of course I grabbed the big one with the handle and this little one with hearts on it. And then I loved these two Christmas baskets that I found, but I didn't grab them. I don't know why, because now looking at them, they're just so cute. I love that one, and then the green one would be perfect for Christmas too. Okay, now for my favorite find of the day. I rounded the corner and this rocking chair just stood out to me. I just loved the wood accent on the bottom and the vintage floral print. Like I said, I love decorating with that throughout my home, so I went ahead and grabbed the price tag, even though I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to fit it in my car. And right behind that rocking chair was this beautiful pine dining table. I loved that it had the little drawers, and I also saw this dresser. Both of those pieces would be really pretty if you sanded them down, got rid of that orange tone. I grabbed this wood sign and then found a baseball bat and added it to cart. And then I headed back over to the home decor aisles and found these beautiful glass canisters with the wooden lids. So immediately added those to cart. I didn't end up grabbing anything from this little Christmas section, but y'all, am I the only one that cannot wait for Christmas? I just get so excited to decorate. Across from the Christmas section, I was drawn to these vases, but these beautiful blue plates caught my eye, and I immediately added them to cart. It was only $5.99 for the set. And then I spotted this rolling pin. I love picking these up. They're so cute to decorate with on your kitchen counter, but this one had some spots, so I left it behind. Before we head over to the clothes, let's look at these books and see what we can find. This was pretty, but for $9, that is just too much for a book, so I didn't grab that. And I did look at this chicken coop book because we have chickens and we're always building different things for them. I thought this was funny because we literally just had a possum in our garage. And I thought this Cape Cod book would be good for the right person who has that like coastal aesthetic. I think books are really pretty when people use them just for decoration, but I personally only grab a book if I'm gonna read it. So this is my section right here. I like to look in the garden section, any of the cookbooks, things like that. So I made my way over to the clothes, and I originally just said I was gonna check the dress section, and that didn't happen. I went through basically all of the aisles, and the first thing that I stumbled upon was this amazing vintage Levi's jacket. And then I headed over to the skirt section and I looked at this one. I liked the pattern, but I put it back because I saw this plaid one that I thought would be so cute to style like this for the fall. Then I headed straight back to my favorite section, which is this full wall of dresses, and I usually hit the jackpot here, but today I didn't have much luck. Here's some things that I thought were really pretty, but I did end up leaving them behind. First was this floral vintage dress, and then this linen romper was also beautiful, but it did have a stain on it, so I left it behind. I did grab this sweet denim dress. I thought it would be cute to style for the fall with some little boots. There's just something about vintage clothes, y'all. The quality is always top tier, and I thought this one would also be perfect for that coastal aesthetic. Over the years, I have learned that it is all in those little details. I pretty much can know just by looking at the shoulder of something, depending on the texture and the style of it, whether or not I'm gonna like it. And I was pretty positive on that first one that it was gonna be a vintage cardigan, and it was. And then see, like these little strawberries, they were just peeking out at me. And I always will grab a vintage denim button up. I love those. This next piece though is probably my favorite find of the day. It's just the little tiny flowers are so precious to me. I love details like that. And then I found a quiet back corner of the store to start going through my buggy and picking out what I would actually be bringing home and what I was going to leave behind. I really liked the big basket with the handle, but it was a bit unstable, the handle was, and I felt like it was going to break pretty soon. So I did leave that behind and a few other things, and then I headed to checkout. I just showed him the receipt. He's going to get the rocking chair. Crossing my fingers this thing fits in here. I don't think it will. But hey, you never know.
Let's just see.
Oh no. Do you think let the seat up?
Yeah, there's
No.
If we can't get it in this big open area.
Well, thank you for trying.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm sorry it didn't fit.
Okay, y'all, so I just left Goodwill. Here is the game plan for this rocking chair. I am gonna go straight to Granny's and either use Pa's truck or her car and go back and get the rocking chair. I really wish it would have fit in here, but this is why I need to get me an old Ford or something so that when I find these little furniture pieces when I'm thrifting, I can have something to haul it in. Now that I have my antique booth as well, I just know I'm gonna be like, ooh, that would be a good furniture piece to sell. Can y'all just picture me whipping in a Ford, an old vintage truck? But here's my thoughts on this rocking chair. It's huge, first of all. Like, there's plenty of room. It's super cozy. Now, I typically don't gravitate towards blues for our house, but I think I need to get over that and just try it because I do have a lot of neutrals in my home, but I like to use color here and there. Who am I kidding? I said, like, the idea, I love the idea of using color, but most everything is like neutrals and like country vintage type of vibe. But if I get it into our living room and I just don't think it fits the space, then I'm gonna put it in my booth because I think that thing would sell. It's so cute and cozy. I love that you can see like the wood accent. Like, I really hope that I like the way that it sort of fits in our living room because it will be perfect for when my sister's babies come over. Let's cross our fingers that it all works out. Let's bump this cruise up. I got to go. That's another thing. I'm in a time crunch because I was supposed to get home by 1 o'clock for my Whatnot show, and it is currently 11:34. So I'm gonna have to push my Whatnot show back to probably 3. So hopefully this all works out, but if not, either way it's a win-win because I know this thing would be adorable in my booth and that she would sell. Doo-doo-doo. Made it home, girls. Okay, y'all, it is the next day and I thought we could do a full haul of everything I found yesterday at Goodwill. I just kind of want to go over and show you guys what I found, my inspiration, how you can style these things in your home. I also found some really cute clothing items that are going to be on my website. So without further ado, let's start with these glass canisters. I love these because they're, what's the word? Oh, this is what I love. Practical but pretty. Everybody needs something to store your oats and your grains and all your dry ingredients, your flours and sugar. It's kind of more practical for storing purposes because instead of having a ton of bags in your pantry of dry goods, you can have them neatly organized into little glass jars. So these are really pretty staged on the counter for like everyday things that you're gonna need. And you can also store these in your pantry. I have a red brick pantry that I use for things that I might not need every single day, but it's still really nice and neat. I've already put 2 canister sets in my booth and they sold really well, so I will probably be putting these in my booth if you want to check them out in Enterprise. Let's look at these plates. Since it is a set, these could be perfect to actually use in your kitchen, but I grabbed this because I love the plate walls. I've seen these on Pinterest and they are so pretty. You can do either all the same colors, or you can mix and match and get different florals and like vintage plates. And they are so pretty displayed in your kitchen or on a hutch. So absolutely love these, and they're in great condition. Okay, next I picked up 2 baskets. Now I grab baskets basically every time I go to the thrift store. They are, first of all, adorable, but baskets are so practical. I use baskets in my house for laundry baskets, obviously like the bigger baskets, but for these small ones, they're perfect for storing things on your counter. Any type of organization, you could put dish towels in these, or you could sit it on your bathroom counter and put different things that you need. There's a hummingbird right outside the window, y'all. Oh my goodness, thank you, Lord. So yes, I love baskets for that reason. You can also hang them on the wall, as you see behind me. I don't know if you can see them or not, but I use them all around my house, and while I'm not using them, I hang them on the wall, and they're just the perfect cozy wall decor to just fill up a space. And I love hanging them on the wall because if I had to store all of my baskets in a closet, they would not fit. So hanging them from the ceiling or on the walls is really pretty and practical as well. I didn't think I was going to find the perfect vintage baby boy nursery items yesterday, but that is what we found. So I found this. This is something I would typically never grab. I've never found a bat and thought, I want that. But now that I have my antique booth, I see things on the shelves, and I'm such a visionary. I can just see the potential of an item, and so I thought that this would be so sweet for a little boy's vintage sports nursery. You could hang it on the wall, and this would be so cute. So I'm gonna put this in my booth. And then I also found this blanket. Now I'm always grabbing blankets, but I haven't found a cute one like this for a little boy's nursery. So you could hang this over the crib. You could use it. You could hang it over your rocker that's in your nursery. And it also has the back side with just the little bears all over it. Oh, and it has little ducks too, and dogs. So both sides are really cute. Just depends on what vibe you're going for. But honestly, I feel like this and the baseball bat could go in the same nursery. So cute. So I'm gonna put these kind of together and style them in the same area together in my booth. The next blanket I found is probably one of my favorites recently. It is this vintage Christmas blanket. Let me stand up so you can see it. So it says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and then it has the reindeer on it, Santa, and the little Christmas town. So I had to grab this. All right, next I found this really sweet wooden sign. It says hands to work, hearts to God. So just any old vintage wood signs that have great messages on them, I always will grab. So I grabbed this one, and I'm gonna be putting it in my antique booth as well. I scored in the kitchen towel section. You can hang these from your oven. You can have them, hanging out of a little basket, or you can organize them into your basket and make them look so cute. I think this one has 4 of this really pretty, sort of vintage looking sunflower. And then this one is perfect for fall with the little pumpkins, the leaves, the sunflower. Working in the kitchen, you can never have too many dish towels. So I grabbed 3 sets of those, and I also found these really pretty 100% jute placemats. There's 4 of them, and I have not decided if I'm gonna keep these or if I'm gonna put them in my booth. And I also want a jute rug underneath our table. It's a round table, so I want a round jute rug. So yeah, we'll see. I may have to save these for the table because that would be really cute if I had the round jute rug underneath the table and then the placemats to match. Okay, so the last thing I have from the Home Goods haul is this beautiful lace valance which is like the curtain that you can put in the middle of your windows. It was a pack of 2. So yeah, that was the last thing from the home section that I found. And y'all, this is probably gonna happen every time, because let's go back to what I said before we went into the store. I'm gonna have to go through at least the dress section. Yeah, that didn't happen. I went over to the clothes section, and the first thing I walked up on was this classic vintage Levi's denim jacket. Here is that Levi's jacket. It is just like the perfect medium wash. I love her. The next thing I found was this adorable vintage knit cardigan. You can layer them over dresses. You can wear them by themselves with a good pair of jeans. They're just the coziest. I also found this cozy sweater for fall and winter. It's a brown color. It's a nice, thick, cozy material. I like that the sleeves are big all the way to the wrist, and then it has a slight mock neck. The Levi's jacket is probably gonna be my favorite find of the clothing haul, but this one is a very close second. I just love sweet little details throughout. The little added flowers along the top are just so sweet. One thing that I have learned over the years while I'm thrifting is if I see a denim collar poking out, I'm going to grab her probably, or at least look, because typically it's gonna be a vintage denim button up with some sort of embroidery on it, and that's exactly what these 2 finds were. And the other denim find was this dress. It's a size small and is going to be listed on my website. It's simple but cute. Okay, the next shirt I have is this umgee blouse, and what drew me to it was the colors. I am a neutrals girly at heart. I love any kind of earthy tones or neutral tones, and that's exactly what this blouse is. I also love me a good puff sleeve, and this one has a puff sleeve with the elastic at the end of the sleeve. Okay, and right as I was going to go through my cart, I walked to like the back of the store so that I wouldn't be like in anyone's way. And I passed through a skirt section that I did not see the first time I was going through the clothes, and I saw this beautiful skirt. It is linen, vintage, and everything I want in a skirt. Skirts can just be paired with so many different things, and I personally love to wear them. And last but not least, my favorite find from the home section was this cozy vintage rocker. This is just going to be a cozy addition to our living room, and I just love it. I didn't know how I would feel about the blue in this one, but I think that it brings a little bit of color, and I like that the neutral kind of tan color in this rocker goes along with the love seat that I have, which also has like that vintage floral print on it. So that is the end of my thrift haul. Thank you guys for watching. I'm excited to keep filming some thrift with me's. So comment down below and let me know if there's anything specific that you'd like to see more thrift with me's, or how I style it in my own home or my antique booth. But before I go, there is this little motto that I've been going by. It came to me a few months ago and I wrote it down. I put it in my Instagram bio, and it's just like my motto for my business and my life. And it's this: I have found many, many thrifted treasures, but the greatest treasure I've ever found was Jesus. And if you have not found him yet, then he is waiting for you with open arms, and he loves you. So God bless you all, and I will see you in the next video.